We can't be the guys that's going to be timid and not knowing what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the block. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, say? Home up in the studio, so I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Wait, the numbers going up.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
Son, all your car needs now is a stereo system. I know just the spot to go get it. Man, Jack Stereo.
Oh yeah, they're the best. How'd you know about that place?
Bro, that's where my dad took me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm the coolest cat on the block.
Oh my God.
Need a new audio system for your new ride? Jack Stereo has been selling the best stereos and equipment for generations after generations. Come visit your local store today. Those in the know, go to Jack Stereo. Waco, Temple, Killeen, and Bryan.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis. As we get ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here locally, but from all around the nation. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here this week. Yesterday, we were off for Martin Luther King Day, but today we are back, and obviously it's a great day in sports. National championship just wrapped up last night. Got plenty to talk about there. Both conference championship games set in the NFL, AFC, and NFC matchups. Of course, we'll talk about those today. We'll talk a little bit about Baylor. DJ Lagway officially signs with Baylor. Officially. It's been unofficial for about 2 weeks. Officially signs with Baylor. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about their basketball team as well. Also, we'll talk about some MCC basketball here today. Both teams got a win this past weekend versus Ranger College. Got a tough game coming up on the road tomorrow versus Grayson College. We'll talk about that here today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in with us as always. Hit that subscribe button, like, and share. Let everybody know Centex Primetime going on right now. Jump in the chat on YouTube. If you're watching with us on YouTube, jump in the chat, man, and we'll talk back with you. We'll be monitoring the YouTube chat comments all show, so make sure you guys jump in the chat, super chat, if you want to. Let us know if we're saying something wrong, if I'm up here saying something wrong, or if I'm not mentioning the right thing. Jump in the chat and definitely let us know. But most importantly, hit that subscribe button for sure. Like I said, folks, a lot to talk about here today on Centex Primetime. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. The Indiana Hoosiers make history and win the national championship. The first 16-0 team since Yale did it back in the 1930s sometime. So, those of you that watch the show, y'all know my opinion. The first time for this ever to happen. I'm not going to count the football that happened when the helmets were squishy still and they had one crossbar going across it. I mean, Yale did it, so that lets y'all know where the landscape of college football was at. This is a history-making Indiana team, not just for going 16-0, not just for taking out Miami in the Orange Bowl, but for the totality of this entire season. First I got to come on here and first say, I told you so for everybody that watches the show. I've been picking Indiana, since midseason, really since last year. I loved Indiana last year and the team that they put together and just Kurt Cinetti's first year in the program. But they lost a couple of games and, people thought it was fugazi because they lost in the playoffs and they lost in the first round. Only two teams they lost to the entire year were in the championship game, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Backdoor this year. They come into this year. They beat everybody down the exact same way. They're not just winning games. They're blowing teams out consistently, week in and week out. Top teams, bad teams, whoever it is, they're beating these guys. They play at Oregon. This is going to be their real test. Will Indiana fall off? They win that game. Okay, well, they're just going to skate all the way until they get to the championship game and lose to Ohio State. They win in that game. They beat, in this playoff run, they beat Alabama, national powerhouse. Oregon, national powerhouse. Close it out by beating Miami in Miami. First off, shout out to Miami, man. This is one of the best championship losing teams I've seen in a while. Man, when you think about the talent all the way from front to back, Carson Beck, championship level quarterback, Mark Fletcher, running back, huge offensive line, probably going to have a couple first-round picks off of that line. At receiver, Malachi Tony. Malachi Tony is a monster. I know Miami didn't win in this game, but Malachi Tony is the real deal. It's a reason why in Florida he's known as Baby Jesus. That's what they call him. They don't call him Malachi. They don't call him Tony. They call him Baby Jesus. You get a chance to see it on full display this entire season. Dude reclassified. He's 17. He's supposed to be in high school right now. The guy you just watched get 122 yards in the national championship game should be in high school still right now. Malachi Tony's a monster. When you look at the talent that these guys have, 30-something 4- and 5-star recruits on this team. Great team that Miami put together. Just came up against a juggernaut, man. This is all about Indiana. This is all about Kurt Cinetti. And I even have to give a good portion of that credit to Fernando Mendoza, man. I've said before on this show, I don't think Mendoza's a top-end talent, and I still don't feel that way. But this dude is a winner. He knows how to win. When they need a play to be made, he makes the play. There was multiple fourth downs where he made plays in there. There was multiple third down conversions when they had to have it. Yes, he got sacked in this game more than a few times. He got hit in this game. Showed his toughness. Had a bruised arm. Got beat up a couple of times going against one of the best, if not the best, defensive line in the country. Ruben Bain had 2.5 tackles for loss and had a sack. He's going to be a top 3 pick. Maybe top. Fernando Mendoza going number 1. Outside of that, right after that could be Ruben Bain. You think about Akeem Mesidor, somebody that's played phenomenal all year long, another guy that's going to be a top-end draft pick. He's getting beat up by these guys, continues to get up, continues to make plays whenever they need it. Mendoza has proved to be a championship-level quarterback. He's going to go down in the history books with the Cam Newtons, with the Joe Burrows, with the Tim Tebows, the guys that win the Heisman and win a national championship. It's a short list. It's not a lot of guys that did that. He's done it in a perfect season, similar to Joe Burrow, similar to Cam Newton, similar to Jameis Winston. Similar to Tim Tebow. Fernando Mendoza definitely deserving. He got the championship game MVP. This Indiana team was stacked, man. They were older. That was a big portion and a big reason for why they won this. But that's a big portion and a big reason for why I was picking them all year long. Man, these are grown men playing against teenagers. Some of these teams, I just talked about Malachi Tony. He's 17, 18 years old. Playing against grown men. Indiana's average age, the average, was 23. So that includes the 18-year-old freshmen, the 19, 20-year-old sophomores. That includes them. So that means there's some 25, 24, maybe even 26-year-olds on this roster. Are they the most talented? No. But these guys know how to win. They've got a guy that I'm putting in high regards as a coach, man. I mean, obviously there's lots and lots of great coaches in college football. Curt Cinetti, even with one championship run, has already put himself, man, in a short list as far as coaching. You got to think about where Indiana came from. This was the team classified as the most losing program in college football history. Not for this year, not for this decade, in the history of college football. And college football goes back further than the NFL. College football goes into like the 1800s. I said a second ago that they broke a Yale record from the 30s when the helmets were squishy. Well, in the 1800s, there wasn't no pads. This was just bare knuckle boxing pretty much. This is just dudes running into each other. That's all that was. They didn't have pads out then. That's how long college football been around. And Indiana was the most losing program in college football history. To turn around from that to just in 2 years, it's not like this is Curt Cinetti's 5th year or 8th year at Indiana. This is his 2nd year at Indiana. And they've done quite literally the impossible. Some of y'all like me, you like to play NCAA, 26, 25, whichever one it is, 26. Try to go on there and get one of those teams with 2 stars on it and win the championship and see how hard it is. For him to do this in 2 years is amazing, man. They had a chance. They were in the college football playoffs last year. That would have already been enough to put him in the upper echelon of coaches in the college football right now. To backdoor that, go 16-0, take out of Ohio State, take out of Alabama, take out of Oregon, take out of Miami. These are blue chip teams from college football in the history of college football, and especially in the last 20, 30 years. For them to go on this type of run speaks volumes to Curt Cinetti. I think he's got a clause in his contract to where if they won the semifinal game, he's got a chance to go back in and renegotiate his contract. They win the semifinals, they win the championship. He's already making about $16 million a year. Man, that number definitely should go up. He should be the highest paid coach in football. That includes the NFL. I don't know who the highest paid coach is in the NFL right now. Curt Cinetti should be making more than whoever the highest paid coach is in the NFL. He's that valuable of an asset. Indiana struck gold. It's not like Curt Cinetti was high up on the coaching ranks and list for people to hire. This guy coming from James Madison. He started out as an assistant coach at Alabama, making $200,000-$300,000 a year as an assistant. Bets on himself, leaves Alabama after winning the championship. Most people stay in that until you get elevated and elevated and elevated to a coordinator. And once you're a coordinator for Nick Saban, you pretty much already signed your job resume and you're going to get a Power 4 job somewhere. Probably an SEC job. The Lane Kiffins, the Kirby Smarts, all these different coaches that have come from his coaching tree. The Dan Lannings that was just in this. Man, all these guys come from that Saban coaching tree. He left that, bet on himself, and went to IUPUI, which is, I mean, a super, super small school. The only time I've ever even heard of that is because I know George Hill went there. Shout out George Hill. Went there, making probably less than 6 figures, bets on himself, wins and wins consistently, gets a job at James Madison, wins and wins consistently. Just in 2019, he was making $400,000 a year, which is a lot of money. I'm not saying it like he was broke, y'all. Making $400,000 a year to now fast forward to right now, making 14 or 15 million a year, and it's probably going to go up near to 20 million a year. Man, Curt Cinetti is a huge success story, one of the greatest success stories when you think about a guy that just bet on himself. He could have stayed there with Saban another 10 years. He bet on himself, and he was right. He was right. He goes to one of the most losing programs, the most losing program in college football history, turns that around to be able to win. This is one of the greatest seasons we've seen out of any school. I put it up there with the 2019 LSU. I put it up there with the 2013 Florida State, who might be the best season we've seen out of a team. I put it up there with all of these different all of these different success stories. And it's right near the top. What Cam Newton was able to do with Auburn. This is right up there near the top of this. Should they be the favorites to win this next year? Now, all the great things I just spoke about Cincinnati, I cannot put them as the favorite to win next year. Yeah, they were a great team. Yeah, they still got Cincinnati, who's going to be the constant in this equation. But I can't put them as a favorite, man. We don't know if this is going to work again. This was a perfect season, a 16-0 season, something we've pretty much never seen before. I can't just come out and say that a team is going to come out and do this again like Indiana. Do they have a chance? Absolutely. They got Cincinnati. As long as they got Cincinnati, they'll have a chance. I can't put them as a favorite, even though they are definitely one of the top teams coming in the next year. You look at the guys they've got in the transfer portal already went and got their next quarterback, another guy from Texas, Josh Hoover, who's been lighting it up at TCU the last couple years. I think he's going to have a similar season to a Mendoza. Will he win the Heisman? Probably not. I think Mendoza won the Heisman because of team success mainly, and he played great. I'm not going to say like he didn't deserve the Heisman. He was the best player on the best team. You can go ahead and give him the Heisman. Josh Hoover's going to be in those talks for next year as well. I can't put them as a favorite, but, man, these guys pulled off the impossible. Indiana was 150-1 odds in the preseason to win the college football title. 150-1. Those same odds are the same odds as if the Marlins were to win the World Series this year. Nick Bonito, who's a DN for the Denver Broncos, to win Super Bowl MVP. The Suns to win the NBA Finals. That shows you how much of a long shot this is. I don't think the Suns are going to win a play-in game. That's the same amount of odds it was for Indiana to win the national championship before. And I know somebody took those odds, and they made a killing. I don't care if you put $10 down. You made some bread if you bet Indiana. Now, nobody outside of Bloomington, Indiana, probably bet Indiana to win the national championship. Not even myself, even though I was a fan of Indiana. They were one of my favorite teams coming into the season. Now, about halfway through the season, I started saying, man, nobody's going to beat these guys. I can't see anybody beating these guys. Indiana pulled off a phenomenal season. They're going to lose Mendoza. They're going to lose Elijah Surratt. They're going to lose pretty much everybody. Aiden Fisher. All these guys are old. These dudes are old. They got to go to the league or go get a job, whichever one they're going to do. But they won't be playing in Indiana. They got to retool. They got to put a lot of pieces back. I think they'll be able to do it. Carson Beck threw that late interception in the game, but, man, I can't even say Carson Beck didn't play that bad in this game. He didn't play that bad. If you look at just the stats with him and Mendoza, you would say, man, he played similar to Mendoza, or maybe even better because at least he threw a touchdown. Didn't play bad in this game. Didn't play well enough to win. He threw that last interception. But to have these guys right there in the mix, I mean, hats off to Mario Cristobal and coming back to Miami and what he's been able to do, because the U hasn't been in this situation since 2002. Since Andre Johnson and all those boys are out there when they lost to Ohio State. They haven't been back since. And if you said that in 2002, that would probably sound crazy. And to see them finally get back 20-plus years later, man, hats off to Mario Cristobal. Hats off to them for building a phenomenal roster. Beck has gone to the draft. They're trying to get another quarterback. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Beck's going to be gone to the draft. I'm sure Fletcher's gone to the draft. Malachi Tony will be back. He's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be a top 5 candidate for Heisman next year as well. But this Miami team had a great season. Nothing to hang their heads down about. Was the last team to get into the college football playoffs this year and made it all the way to the championship round. So, man, shouts out to both of these teams for putting on a great game, if nothing else. Giving us a good game. I still think back to that TCU and Georgia game 4 or 5 years ago, man, and, get PTSD from that, hoping that we're not going to see any more blowout games close to that. So shout out to them for giving us a really good game to be able to watch in it. Cincinnati, Fernando Mendoza pulled off the impossible. Mendoza heading into the draft is the favorite to be the number 1 pick. I've said it on here before. I think he's going to be the number 1 pick for sure. The Raiders are going to pick him at 1. Tom Brady was there last night. I think Mark Davis was at the game last night. I think the GM for the Raiders was at the game last night. He's going number one, man. He's talked about how big of a fan he is of Tom Brady. He said he tried to bottle his game after Tom Brady. He's clearly a huge Brady fan. I'm sure there's been some type of communication there. And I think he'll be number one to the Raiders. With Dante Moore coming back to college, that's where it starts to shake up. Because, I thought the Jets were going to pick Dante Moore. And I said last week on the show, I can't blame Dante Moore for going back to college. Who wants to play for the Jets? I go back to college too. I might go to the XFL before I play quarterback for the Jets. It's a career ruiner. Look at Sam Darnold in the NFC Championship. Look at Geno Smith on his third or fourth contract in the league. And these guys ruined I don't know how many careers at quarterback, similar to the Cleveland Browns. So I can't blame Dante Moore for that. Mendoza will be the number one pick off the board, gone to the Raiders. In my opinion, they're definitely picking a quarterback. And you can't look anywhere else than Mendoza, especially with Dante Moore pulling his name out of the hat. Who's left that you're going to pick for quarterback? Carson Beck? Number one? Come on. Mendoza's going to be the clear-cut favorite. If you're going to put odds in on the draft to see who's going to be number one, you better. It's probably already too low right now, but you might want to put it in now before the odds shrink some more, because I think he's clearly the number one pick. College football season comes to an end with Indiana Hoosiers sitting at the top. Indiana shocks the world. Kind of bittersweet, man. You get to the college football championship and you watch a great game and see all the post-game stuff, and then you're like, dang, ain't no more football. Not from college. Ain't no more football left. And we saw probably the best since they've expanded the playoffs, the best playoffs, in my opinion. Some really, really good games within this playoffs. You got the Ole Miss stories in there, multiple different storylines in this playoffs. Overall, a really good playoff run, man. Overall, a great college football season. I think Joe Klatt say this, and I agree. I think we're entering into the golden age of college football. Indiana winning kind of solidifies that for me. I say the golden age because we're going to see parity with the NIL, with the transfer portal. Every single year, a team has a chance to go worst to first. Every year. Look at Texas Tech. Middle of the pack, Big 12 team. Don't even know if they made a bowl game a year ago. They dump a bunch of money into the football program. They're in the playoffs. I think if they had a better quarterback, they would have had a chance to be in the semifinals, maybe even the final game. That's how good Tech was. That's how good their defense was for sure. Everybody's got a chance to go worst first. Every single year, especially in the Power Four. Every team in the Power Four has a chance to go from worst to first. How do we know? Indiana just did it. They were literally the worst. Not only were they the worst, they were the worst ever. If they can go from worst to first in 2 years, every single team has a chance to do it. That's why I think we're entering the golden age of football. I liked seeing Alabama play sometimes, but I wasn't a fan of – it wasn't as exciting to me as watching what we're seeing now. When Alabama has this run, man, those teams, you knew they were going to win. You knew they were going to win. And not because Nick Saban was so great of a coach that, man, no matter what happens, Nick Saban's going to be the best. No, because they had the best running backs, the best receivers in the country, the best O-line in the country, the best D-line in the country, the best linebackers, and the best corners in the country, all playing for the same team. The second best corners and linebackers and D-ends in the country were on the bench for Alabama. That's why they won. They were stacking the deck. It was impossible for somebody to beat some of these teams that they had. Look back through some of those rosters. Who was beating those teams? Now, did they win it every single year? No. But they won it a lot of the years. So seeing it like this, I don't think we're ever going to get at least in this current state of college football, we're not going to get another 2010s Alabama. What we saw out of Alabama in the 2010s, I don't think we're going to see that again. And that's a good thing in my opinion. I don't want to see a team stacking the deck. I don't want to see a team with the number one linebacker in the country is the third string. And then we just sit and wait 2 years, and then each and every year, it's all 5 stars out there playing. It's all the best whatever in the country is all on one team. I don't want to see that. I like the idea that every single year teams have a chance to compete, including the small schools like Indiana. It's not like we're going from just Alabama to Notre Dame to Ohio State to Miami. No, it could go from Indiana. It could go to Auburn. It could go to North Carolina. I'm just naming random teams, but it could happen. As crazy as any of those sound, Indiana just won the championship, so nothing's crazy anymore. Everybody's got a chance to go out there and do it. So, man, shout out to Indiana for winning. And shout out to college football because I think they're actually getting some things right. Now, they got to put some reins on the transfer portal. Talked about that before. Got to put reins on the transfer portal. But I'm not complaining about the NIL because nobody was complaining about the NIL when these coaches was getting $10, $12, $15 million and the players are putting together $20 between themselves to go get a pizza. That doesn't make any sense. Last I checked, Nick Saban didn't catch any out routes. He didn't throw any touchdowns, and he didn't get any picks. But he was getting $15, $20 million a year from the school. Not saying that's wrong. He was winning. I'm just using him as an example. For him to make that, and then for a player to have to scrape money together, to have to call their mama to get a pizza, no, that's not right. So I'm supportive of the NIL. The transfer portal is where some rain's got to happen, man. It's dudes that's already on their 4th and 5th teams in college football. That's what's got to stop. But I think college football is headed in a good direction. Some people disagree. A lot of people say, man, the college football is heading downhill. They're paying these boys now, and they're just doing it for the money. It ain't for the love of the game anymore. The people that talk like that usually like free labor. So, no, we're not going to do that. These dudes is making billions for these colleges and for these institutions. So you giving them $800,000 seems like a lot of money until you look at how much revenue the football program's making. Then it ain't a lot of money. Shout out to college football, man, for giving us a tremendous season once again. Let's move on and talk about a little bit of NFL. NFL had some really, really good games in the divisional round of the playoffs. Thought about not coming in and talking about the NFL today, obviously, because of the outcome with my Houston Texans, and we're going to get there in just a second. And I know my Texans lost. I'm still a Texans fan. I'm still a Houston everything fan. I know y'all see I got a Dallas shirt on today, but it's just hockey, and I promise you I can't tell you 3 rules about hockey. I just like the sweatshirt. So I'm not switching up. I'm not going to nothing Dallas. I'm still Houston everything. It's just cold outside, and I needed a hoodie. So I chose hockey. Houston don't have a hockey team, or I would have had a Houston whatever hockey team on. Dallas got a hockey team, so that's who I'm going to rep if I got to wear anything hockey. But I can't name you 3 players in hockey right now. I'm sorry to any of my hockey fans, my guys that watch hockey. Charles Barkley says he watches more hockey than NBA because it's more exciting, and I believe him. Not that it's more exciting, but that he watches more hockey than NBA because I guarantee he doesn't watch any NBA games, including the ones that he's on TV to be able to call. But my Texans lose this past weekend. Still, all in all, a good divisional round for the NFL. Let's start in Buffalo, or with Buffalo losing to the Denver Broncos, a game that came all the way down to the wire. 33-30 win for the Denver Broncos in overtime. Back and forth game between these two, man. A phenomenal game between these two, just like we thought it would be. You got Superman on one side and Josh Allen, who's been doing it all for his team this year. And then you got the second best defense in the league. Can't even talk about the best defense. We'll talk about them in a second in my Texans. The second best defense in the league with the reigning defensive player of the year and Pat Surtain on one side. And Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning coach. Aspirations of getting back. They take him out 33-30 in this game. Biggest story of this game came down to who had the ball last. Very questionable pick six call. I mean, not pick six. Very questionable interception call that virtually ended the game, or that was the last possession for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen threw 2 picks in this game. I think he fumbled the ball a couple of times, fumbled the ball 3 times, lost 2 of them. 4 turnovers total for Josh Allen. James Cook was still able to get off 117 yards. I mean, the Bills rushed for $180 on the Broncos, and I don't know if anybody's rushed for $180 on the Broncos all year. Had a good game plan coming into this game, but what was the difference? The difference was the turnovers. Bo Nix threw 1 pick. No fumbles lost. Josh Allen threw 2 picks and lost 2 fumbles. That was the difference in the game. Now, I've already seen everybody come on the shows the last couple of days and tiptoe around Josh Allen. And, man, the defense just didn't help him out. They let the Broncos score 33 points. The referees were terrible. I heard Dan Orlowski, and I respect Dan. I mean, he gives a lot of good football takes. But the constant taking up for Josh Allen, it's just getting annoying at this point. Now, I've been saying all week leading up to this game, if they lose, I'm ready to see what everybody says. And are they going to come out here and blame Josh Allen like they blame Jalen Hurts, like they blame Lamar Jackson, like they blame Dak Prescott? And I'm not even a Cowboys fan. But if the Bills came out here with a chance to win like this and Dak has 4 turnovers, they're going to kill Dak. They're going to say Dak needs to be gone from the Cowboys. He's the worst thing that ever happened to the Cowboys. I wish Tony Romo could come out the booth and come play. They be saying all that. But where is this for Josh Allen? And I've been saying this for years now. This is not a new thing for me. Even if it's your first time watching the show, this is not a new thing for me. I've been saying this about Josh Allen for years. He seems to consistently escape criticism. Him and Justin Herbert. Herbert gets criticized a little bit more deservingly. I mean, he plays a lot worse than Josh Allen, especially in the playoffs. But every time Josh Allen loses in the playoffs, somehow we bring up, man, do you remember when he almost beat Patrick Mahomes that time? Oh, he beats everybody except Patrick Mahomes. When Lamar fumbled the ball last year in the playoffs in the first half and then brought his team all the way back to tie the game up, and Mark Andrews doesn't catch the ball in the end zone on 2-point conversion for them to go to OT and potentially win the game, it was Lamar's fault. I heard multiple people saying, well, you shouldn't have fumbled. Well, you shouldn't have gave the leave up in the first half. Doesn't matter if you brought him back. You still made mistakes. And yet here Josh Allen gets 4 turnovers. It's his fault they lost. I don't care what anybody says. It's his fault they lost the game. You had 4 turnovers. Josh Allen is the reason they lost. Is Josh Allen the reason they win every game? Yes. But we know that about these other quarterbacks too. And yet they get the criticism. Specifically Lamar, a guy that Josh Allen stole an MVP from last year, in my opinion. No way you look at any of the numbers from last year or the play from last year and say that Josh Allen played better than Lamar. It's just statistically incorrect. And yet they gave it to Josh Allen because, man, it's about time he won one. You know, he doesn't have one yet. Man, we got to get this Josh Allen guy. That's the problem when you have humans voting for these things. Emotions get involved when you have humans voting for anything. And you look at Lamar, you can make him a 3-time MVP, puts him in the upper echelon class with a short list of people. Or, man, Josh Allen doesn't have an MVP. Let's give him one. Let's give Josh an MVP. He still doesn't have one. Now he comes out here, has a worse game than what Lamar had in the playoffs last year, and the officiating was bad. His defense couldn't get it done. Guys dropped the ball. We got to stop. I'm going to hold Josh Allen accountable because since we've just deemed him as the best quarterback in the league, I still never seen how Josh Allen was better than Lamar Jackson. And everybody, man, look at him throw the ball. He's got a cannon for an arm. Lamar still would throw for more yards than him. Lamar still has a better QBR than him. Lamar's got the best QBR, I think, in NFL history. It might be top 5. Yet we consider Josh Allen the better passer of the football. Oh, man, well, he's such a force running the football. And Lamar Jackson's the best runner of the football ever and gets penalized for it. He's the best quarterback runner with the football ever and gets penalized for it for some reason. So, no, I'm holding Josh Allen accountable. This is his fault. Not only is it his fault, but now he got his coach fired. A coach that definitely didn't deserve to get fired. A coach that's been in the playoffs the last 8 years. They're saying that Josh Allen pretty much is Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, and it's got to be Sean McDermott's fault because it can't be Josh Allen. Now you got that on your resume. You get a coach fired that's easily the best coach available to be hired. Easily the best coach available to be hired. Sean McDermott gets fired. Reports say that Sean McDermott criticizes the Bills roster in weeks before firing as the head coach. He pointed out what the roster lacked to win a Super Bowl And the GM, Brandon Bean wasn't pleased with that. Neither was a couple of the other assistant coaches. So Sean McDermott ends up seeing his way out as head coach, and Brandon Bean is promoted from assistant coach to head coach. I don't know what the Bills are doing. Firing Sean McDermott is crazy, not only because how do you blame that loss on Josh McDermott? You lose by 3 points to the number 1 seed in the AFC on the road in a place they've only lost once all year long. Got the best defense left in the playoffs. Got the defensive player of the year. And it's his fault they lost? And not the quarterback that had 4 turnovers? Come on, man, this is crazy. And then the second part that makes it crazy, who are you going to get to replace him? That's a better coach than Sean McDermott. Who's out there that's going to replace him? Tomlin? I don't think Tomlin wants to go to Buffalo. I seen somebody say Mike Tomlin needs to wait out Andy Reid and go get the chief job, and I agree. I think Mike Tomlin should sit out a couple of years, go do TV. They're going to pay you $5 million to just say whatever you feel like saying. I think you should go do that. But for him to get fired, Sean McDermott to get fired after the success that he's had in Buffalo, when before he got there, Buffalo was an afterthought with Rex Ryan. After he got there, they've been contenders multiple years. They lost to a dynasty in Kansas City. That's what they've been losing to. And then they lose to the number 1 seed by 3 points in a game where your quarterback had 4 turnovers. So they could have easily won the game. To fire Sean McDermott, I think is crazy. I don't know who made the decision. Obviously, the owners, the GMs, feel like Brandon Bean could take over. But, man, what a terrible decision. The Broncos, at the end of the game, lose their quarterback for the remainder of the season. Bo Nix hurts himself in the last couple of plays of the game in overtime, trying to get in better position for a field goal. Gets injured, hurts his ankle, out for the season. Fracture on his ankle. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. You get this far, you go 14-3, you make it all the way here, you win at home in your first divisional round. Your quarterback breaks his ankle. Going in to play New England, Jarrett Stidham will be the starter. Shout out Stidham, man. Central Texas kid. Went to Baylor. Was going to be part of the Baylor resurgence, man. Or not even resurgence. The next level, I think, of where Baylor was headed. That Art Briles had put those teams together. Stidham was one of the final pieces in what was going to be an outstanding Baylor roster led by Art Briles. And then obviously, stuff happens with Art Briles. He decommits and goes to Auburn after 1 year at Baylor, and takes all the commits with him as well. Went to Stephenville, a Stephenville kid. I remember watching him in high school. He was the grade below me, I think. The grade right below me. I remember watching him at Stephenville, tear up La Vega multiple years, and tear up a bunch of other teams here in the Central Texas area. He was a problem, man. Shout out to Stidham. I think he gives them a good enough chance to win still, and we'll talk about the championship games in a second. I still think he gives them a good chance to win. Stidham is going to run similar stuff to Bo Nix did. Now, Bo Nix played great in this game, but, you know, I don't think it's something that Stidham can't replicate. I think he can do most of the stuff Bo Nix can. Obviously, Bo Nix is better than him. But as a backup, I don't think there's going to be a huge drop-off. Sean Payton said it himself. Stidham's been in this program for 2 years now, too. So he's been in all the meetings that Bo Nix was in. They've watched all the same film. They've looked at the same coverages. They studied the same for 2 years. I think Stidham will be fine in this game versus New England. But the Broncos take out Buffalo, headed to the AFC Championship once again for the first time since they won a Super Bowl, I believe, back in 2015. They'll be playing against the New England Patriots next Sunday for the AFC Championship with Jarrett Stidham under helm. We'll talk about those games in just a second here. Folks, we're going to go into a quick break here on Centex Primetime. When we come back, I'll talk about my Texans losing, man. I was avoiding talking about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Well, I'll talk about these AFC and NFC championship games as well, and still got more to talk about. We'll do some quick takes, as always, and we'll talk about some MCC basketball and some Baylor basketball here in just a second. So stay tuned and stay locked in here on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this break.
what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the box. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, say? Whole month in the studio, said I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Way the numbers going up.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
Son, all your car needs now is a stereo system. Now I know just the spot to go get it. Man, Jack Stereo.
Oh, yeah, they're the best. How'd you know about that place?
Probably that's where my dad took me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm the coolest cat on the block.
Oh, my God.
Need a new audio system for your new ride? Jack Stereo has been selling the best stereos and equipment for generations after generations. Come visit your local store today. Those in the know, go to Jack Stereo, Waco, Temple, Killeen, and Bryan College Station.
I've looked back at MCC with all these kids coming out here, these men and women starting their lives out here, starting their dreams and their visions of what they want to do for their family. Is the foundation for our community.
The plan is to go win.
Yes, sir.
Our girls set a goal that they wanted to win a national championship. They wanted to win a conference championship. That's been on the table from day one. And now we put ourselves in the position to do that.
Pitch hit in the air and deep to left field. Going back is Rayvon Morgan at the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch for the third out.
On the line, too much to give in. If you think it's over, then let's start it again. The planets alive, the stars burn bright, the sun goes down, we keep going all night. Don't back down, the moment is now. Don't miss out, we're never turning around.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis still here. Second part of the show here today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Stay on Centex Primetime. We just got done talking about Indiana Hoosiers making history, winning the national championship, first 16-0 team in almost 100 years. So as I said earlier in the show, the first 16-0 team. We're not even counting whatever happened 100 years ago. We talked about the Buffalo Bills falling to the Denver Broncos, also them firing their head coach Sean McDermott. Bo Nix breaking or fracturing his ankle heading into the AFC Championship game as well. So let's talk about some more of these games that happened in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs before we move on to some other topics. My Houston Texans fell short to the New England Patriots 28-16. This is short, y'all. This is short. Nothing spectacular happened for the Patriots. They had good field position because our quarterback played like the worst player in the NFL on Sunday. It's that simple. CJ Stroud jersey, you won't be seeing it behind me. I put on my Instagram stories and I'm burning that Stroud jersey. It's not burnt yet. It's not burnt yet. Haven't made the decision. It's not burnt yet. But, nah, man, it's simple. CJ Stroud had 4 turnovers. He had 4 turnovers the previous week. I think he's the first person in NFL playoff history with almost 10 turnovers. First person. You can't win doing that. I just hate it. I hate it not only because I'm a Texas fan, but I hate it because he wasted the best defense in the league. One of the best defenses I've seen. I said before the game on Sunday when I was on the show last week, this is the 2013 Legion of Boom. This is the 2015 no-fly zone. I'm not going to say anything as the 2000 Ravens. What they were doing to people was just ridiculous. This is the 02 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is one of those type of defenses. Will Anderson might be the best defensive player in the NFL. And what he was able to do, he's, I think, third all-time and third right now in active players with playoff sacks. He's got 8 sacks in the playoffs. Even in this game, he had 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks. 3 sacks. 2 of those was forced fumbles. Played a phenomenal game. Played championship-level defense all year long, as did the rest of this defense. I mean, even when you look at the touchdowns that the Patriots scored, you look at the one-handed catch from Kayshon Boutte in tight coverage with Derek Stingley. You look at the tight coverage catch from Stephon Diggs. Like, the Texans' defense wasn't allowing much at all. And then they were turning the ball over. But when you got a quarterback that goes out there and throw 4 turnovers, see, it's been an up-and-down relationship with me and C.J. Stroud. Had a friend of mine that a contributor to the show texted me and said, "What's going on with C.J. Stroud?" I said, "I have no idea. I have no answers. I can't answer that. What's going on with C.J. Stroud? I don't know what's going on." I haven't felt the same about C.J. Stroud. Most people say since his rookie year, but the moment for me didn't happen in his after his rookie year. It happened in his second year when Tank Dell tore his knee up on that play, and C.J. Stroud was boo-hooing and crying like he was at his grandmama's funeral. I get it. Tank is your boy. He's your teammate. You hate to see somebody get hurt. But we got to play a game. That injury happened like in the second quarter. This dude is boo-hooing. Like he's tearing, he's crying to where he's got to start sniffling and wiping his nose type of crying. Like, bro, what are you doing? I get it. That's your homeboy. That's your best friend, whatever y'all want to call each other. I don't care. You boo-hooing like that in the middle of a game because somebody hurt his knee. Not saying the situation ain't sad that he hurt his knee, but somebody's going to hurt their knee the next game and the game after that. And the game after that, it's almost like football is a violent sport and people get hurt. I never thought about C.J. Stroud the same after that. Never looked at him the same. Something about that just didn't sit right with me. And after seeing these performances in the playoffs the last couple of weeks, I don't even know what to think about Stroud. The number one job of Nick Caserio, the GM of the Houston Texans, make sure D'Amico Ryan stays under contract. Make sure just about everybody from that defense either gets a contract or stays under contract. We're about to have to back up a Brinks truck for Will Anderson in about a year. You got to retain these guys. Stingley already got paid. Petrie got to get paid. Last year they're going to have to get paid in a little bit. Anderson's going to have to get paid. Henry Toa's going to have to get paid, who's played great. Al Shahir is going to have to get paid, who's an all-pro. Find a way to keep this defense together, even if we got to get rid of Stroud to do it. Now, that brings the question. Should the Texans get rid of C.J. Stroud? Now, I've been back and forth on this. Y'all seen I said I wanted to burn the Stroud jersey. You can't win with any quarterback playing like that. But get rid of him. I don't think it's time to get rid of C.J. Stroud. Can he get better? I mean, it's hard to play worse than what he just played. It's hard to play worse than that. Now, C.J., after his rookie year, Everybody, including myself, thought, man, this is going to be one of the next guys. Rookie year threw for 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, and just 5 picks. This last year, he threw for 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions in 14 games because he missed time with a concussion. I don't think it's time to let him go. The number one reason is, who are you going to get to replace him? It's not like quarterbacks are just laying around out there. As long as we can get him on a reasonable contract, which next year we'll be picking up his 5th-year option, around 20-something million, definitely keep him. Because who are you going to get better than that for cheaper than that? Nobody. So you got to keep him. You got to retain his defense. You got to keep Stroud for now. Is he the quarterback of the future? I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to ever overlook this playoff year, this playoff run. It's hard to overlook that. 9 turnovers in 2 weeks is insane. It's crazy. You'll never win anything playing like that. But is it time to get rid of him? I think we can't. I think we're kind of stuck with him right now. But can you win with somebody you're stuck with? Sure. If your defense plays the way this defense played. Peyton Manning got benched the year they won the Super Bowl. He got benched halfway through the season. Brock Osweiler played. They let him rest up. But Peyton was just playing trash, and they knew, man, let's just get to the playoffs. We can get to the playoffs. Peyton will do enough for us to win. So can you win with the bad quarterback situation with a defense like this? Yeah. So I say let's keep him, and let's figure out how to keep this defense together. That's the most important part, regardless of what happens at quarterback. The most important part is keeping this defense together. Getting the offensive line so it doesn't matter who's back there at quarterback. Texans, man, they disappointed me. All in all, it was a good season, though. Multiple All-Pros. Will Anderson emerged as, I believe, the heir apparent and next best defensive player in the league next to Myles Garrett. I think a 40% pass rush win rate is what this team had. An all-time great defense wasted by the performance of C.J. Stroud, man. But the Patriots move on to the next round. They'll be taking on the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship game. The other game that happened on Saturday, San Francisco 49ers beat Seattle. Now, this is the game, obviously, I got way wrong. I said, hey, man, I'll pick San Fran to win this game. Sam Darnold was questionable coming into this. I thought Kyle Shanahan had a little bit of magic. I wasn't right at all about this one. Not even close. Seattle blows them out. Nothing really special or spectacular about this game. They opened it up with a kickoff return, and they never looked back from there. Brock Purdy is just as Rocky would say, who's on the show, he's just a trailer. He's not the truck. He can get pulled along to a championship, but he's not pulling anybody to a championship. Now, he was facing a task that probably nobody in the league could do, and that's win with the amount of injuries that these guys had. But he's shown that he's not enough to be able to win by himself, and he couldn't do it by himself, and that's who he was pretty much out there with, was him by himself after the amount of injuries that they had. Seattle just too much, man. Their defense was great. They rushed for 175 yards in this game. They didn't have to do much, though. Their real test is coming up this next week versus the Rams. Let's talk about the Rams and the Bears, a game that came down to the wire as well, another overtime game in the divisional round. The Rams able to win 20-17 in a snowstorm versus the Chicago Bears. All this showed me was that Caleb Williams is still young and he still needs time. That's it. Did he play good enough to win? At moments. Threw 3 picks, though. You're not going to win very many playoff games throwing 3 picks. It was a tough game. He had an all-time playoff throw. All-time throw. That 4th down touchdown pass in the final seconds of the game. All-time throw. Something I've literally never seen before. That's a Madden play. A dude scrambles 10, 15 yards backwards and throws a dot to a guy in the back of the end zone. All-time throw from Caleb Williams, and I think that's kind of the story of Caleb Williams. Talent is off the charts. Some throws he made this year were just absolutely ridiculous. Talent is off the charts. Arm talent off the charts. But can he match everything else that comes with it? The mental part of the game. The not giving the ball away part of the game. Yes, you can make every throw, but can you not give the ball up? Those are the things that are going to make Caleb Williams special, man, for the Chicago Bears. First 4,000-yard passer for the Bears. Already probably the best quarterback in Chicago Bears history. Got a long future with the Chicago Bears. Wasn't good enough to win against the Rams. Picked the Rams in this game just because of Stafford. When it came down to it, when they threw that pick, I knew the Rams were going to go win it because they got Stafford. Stafford's an all-time great quarterback. If he wins the championship this year, he's first ballot Hall of Famer. He's definitely going to the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. First ballot if he wins this year. Probably going to win the MVP this year after another phenomenal season. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat Matt Stafford and Sean McVay play calling. They both didn't have their best game, and they still came out with a victory in that game. That's what makes me believe that the Rams have a chance to win it all. Let me say that. They have a chance to win it all. Their defense stepped up, made plays when they needed to. They forced 3 turnovers in this game, but they're definitely going to have to play better playing against the Seattle team. Let's look at the matchups for the championship games. The championship games are set in the NFL. First game on Sunday at 2 o'clock. New England headed to Mile High to play in Denver. Denver is a 5.5-point underdog in this game. Obviously, that is due to the injury of Bo Nix. If Bo Nix was playing in this game, I think they will still be the favorite for sure in this one. I'm taking Denver in the points. I'm taking Denver on that 5.5. I think Denver can still win this game with the backup quarterback. Bo Nix played a great game this last week, but I don't think that most games Bo Nix does something that's not able to be replicated by Jarrett Stidham. I think Jarrett Stidham can do some similar things to Bo Nix. With the injury, obviously the offense is going to change some, but I think most of these players are going to be the same. This dude been in the system for 2 years. He knows all the plays. He doesn't have to learn a new playbook. He knows the entire playbook. He's taken a lot of the reps in practice over the last 2 years. He knows the playbook. He knows what Sean Payton wants. He's in those quarterback meetings. He's in those offensive meetings with Sean Payton. And has been in those offensive meetings and quarterback meetings for 2 years. I think they're going to be able to do some of the same stuff. The Patriots have not wowed me whatsoever in the playoffs so far. They played good enough to win in the first game. And the Texans quarterback had an all-time meltdown for them to be able to win in the second game. But, I haven't seen anything crazy out of Drake May. I haven't seen anything crazy out of this Denver offense, out of this New England offense. Denver's defense is for real. They're going to show up. They're going to play. They're at home. They've been winning at home all year. New England's going to have to get on a flight, go across the country, and come play at 2 o'clock. I like the Broncos in this one. Backup quarterback or not, it's not like we haven't seen backups before go to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. Nick Foles. We think back all the way back to the Giants in their Super Bowl run with a backup quarterback. We've seen it before. It's not nothing crazy to think. And Stidham's not just a slouch. It's not like Stidham is just the worst backup quarterback. And he's not a slouch at backup. He's a guy that can come in and make plays. We've seen him do it before. He's mobile. He's got Sean Payton calling plays, and he's got the best defense left in the playoffs. I like the Broncos in this one, man. I know the Patriots are the favorite. They got Drake May. He's going to be the MVP runner-up. I'd still take the Broncos in this game. Looking at the NFC Championship game coming on at 5:30 on Sunday, the third matchup of the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams and Seahawks, they split the series this year. They lost to Seattle a couple of weeks ago in a 38-37 game thriller with a questionable 2-point conversion play and all that, for those of you that remember that game. But it was a crazy game, back and forth between those two teams. And when they won 21-19. So very little is splitting between these two teams. Seattle's super talented. Their defense, love their defense. Leonard Williams, Devin Witherspoon, Ernest Jones, all those guys out there on the defensive side of the ball playing some really, really good football. And then Sam Darnold, I mean, for all we think about Sam Darnold and what I've said about Sam Darnold and others have said about Sam Darnold, man, the dude won 14 games in a row. I mean, dudes won 14 games in a season 2 years in a row. 2 different teams. It's only 2 quarterbacks ever to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. Tom Brady, the GOAT, and Sam Darnold. I'm not comparing Sam Darnold to Tom Brady in any way. I'm just saying he's on a very short list of guys that's done that. It's just him and the GOAT are the only two guys that have done that. Sam Darnold has a chance to change, everything about his career if he could win this game and if he could go to a Super Bowl and potentially win a Super Bowl. Change everything. From being with the Jets, just one of the worst organizations in sports history, who ruin quarterbacks, a career killer if you're a quarterback and you go there, a career killer for most positions if you go there. For him to overcome that and to get to the NFC Championship game, to win 14 games 2 years in a row, to have a chance to be the first quarterback in that 2018 quarterback class to win a Super Bowl. With Baker Mayfield, who went number 1, with Josh Allen, who went top 10, with Lamar Jackson. 2 of those guys are going to be in the Hall of Fame. And Sam Darnold's got a chance to be the first one to win a Super Bowl out of there. He could change everything about his career if he's able to go out there and win this game. They're playing in Seattle. This is going to be a tight game, as it should be. It's the NFC Championship game. I still like the Rams. I can't bet against Matt Stafford. I can't bet against Sean McVay. Not after what I've seen this year. Oh, they gave a bunch of points to Carolina. Oh, they almost lost to the Bears. They're doing enough to win. They're doing just enough to win. I've seen this before in New England with a guy named Tom Brady. You do enough to win. They didn't blow everybody out every single Super Bowl run they made, but they did enough to win. That's what Matt Stafford is doing. I think the Rams are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Looking at the 4 teams left, is Matt Stafford in a bag of chips if I'm talking about the quarterbacks. Matt Stafford, Drake May, Jared Stidham, and Sam Darnold. Matt Stafford is clearly the best guy, and it's not saying you take the best quarterback, but Matt Stafford is in that he's in that flow state at playing quarterback to where the game is simple to him. Remember seeing this with Tom Brady as he got older. Aaron Rodgers for a little while as he got older. Where it's just, it's almost too easy. No, whatever coverage you throw out, I know what to go to. Whether you run cover 2, cover 1, cover 4, cover 0, whatever you're running, he's seen it 1,000 times. He knows what to do. Some people were saying, oh, he's not going to win in Chicago because he can't play outside, as if he didn't play in the NFC North for, 8 or 9 years. Matt Stafford's the best player left in the playoffs. I got to go with Matt Stafford in this one in Seattle. Going to be a close game. Seattle is the real deal. Not taking anything away. Not taking anything away from Seattle. I definitely think they're the real deal. They've got a really good team, but I got to roll with the Rams in this one. Talked about Sean McDermott getting fired. A couple coaches get hired. Robert Saleh headed to the Titans. Robert Saleh, I think, got a bad deal in New York. He went to New York. Their defenses were consistently good year in and year out. He had them right outside of the playoffs with Zach Wilson as a quarterback. I think Robert Saleh is actually a pretty decent coach, especially if you're talking about coaching the defensive side of the ball. Look at what he was able to do with San Fran's defense this year after losing all their good players on the team on the defensive side. Nick Bosa out for the year. Fred Warner out for the year. Javarius Ward goes to the Colts. Loses all their best players, and they still perform, still able to win 12 games out there as well. I think this is a great hire for Tennessee. They got to get a good young offensive mind to come in there and help mold Cam Ward. But I think we overvalue bringing in an offensive coordinator as a head coach when you got a good quarterback or when you got a quarterback you want to develop. I think you just need to get somebody that can develop the quarterback. I don't think he necessarily has to be the head coach. We've seen that with the Mike McDaniels. I've seen it with the Josh McDaniels. He had multiple times getting a head coaching job. He's just a better offensive coordinator. I think getting a guy that can really come in and develop Cam Ward will be huge, but bringing in Robert Saleh is going to make your team good. Whether or not they figure out the offense, that's up to the GM and Saleh to put together a staff that can do that. But I know the defense will be straight now. You got Ladarius Sneed. You got Jeffrey Simmons on that front line. You got some pieces you can build around on the defensive side of the ball, and then you get the coach to go with it. I like the hire. I like the hire from Titans. Kevin Stefanski headed to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I've seen a lot of Falcons fans saying, man, what are we doing? How are we going to get the guy that was trying to blow up Shadour's career in Cleveland? Despite all of the crazy nonsense, and it absolutely was nonsense, what just happened in Cleveland this last year between Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, Shedeur Sanders, Jimmy Haslam, all of them. nonsense is what happened. Regardless which side you're pointing at the finger at, it was a dumpster fire. Did he deserve to get fired from Cleveland? Absolutely. But Kevin Stefanski is still a 2-time coach of the year. Going to Atlanta, I think is actually a good fit. Whether you bring back Kirk Cousins or if you roll with Michael Penix. If they can get that Stefanski offense rolling, they got weapons. They got Kyle Pitts, who finally made an All-Pro. They got Drake London, who I think is a legit number one receiver. They got the best running back in the league, probably. In my opinion, the best running back in the league is Bijan Robinson. That's something you can build around if you're an offensive guy like Kevin Stefanski. The defense is still going to need work, but they're going to have to keep putting capital on the defensive side of the ball in order for them to get better. Offensively, they got all the weapons. They just haven't been able to put it together. I don't think it's a terrible hire from the Falcons. Did I want him in Cleveland still? No. But is it a bad hire for the Falcons? No. They got offensive weapons. See if Stefanski can make this work. If not, he'll be done as a head coach. This will be his last shot as a head coach if he can't get this to work, in my opinion. I think that'll probably be it for him. Let's look at some local topics here while we got some time left here on Centex Primetime. DJ Lagway officially signs with Baylor, finally. I don't know what the deal is the last couple of weeks where he signs with Baylor, but he's taking visits to Ole Miss, but he's taking visits here. But then this team says they're getting in on him, and then Miami's trying to make a last-minute push. Duke is making a push at him. Like, it's just too much. I thought you signed with Baylor, bro. Now they finally make it official. Signs with Baylor. I'm sure he's going to be well compensated to come down here with Baylor. Talked about it last week on the show. Is that enough for them to win a championship? Is that enough for them to compete in the Big 12? Is that enough for them to make the college football playoffs? I don't know. And honestly, I don't think so. I like the signing with Draylen Miller. Every other signing Baylor has had in the transfer portal has been absolute mid. And we lost all our best players at every key position. Mid. That's it. We got a whole bunch of mid. We're going to try it out there. And that's what the team is going to look like. Mid. 6-6. If that. 5-7. Like we did this year. That's what I see going into next year. Can I be wrong? Sure. I'll have to see what spring ball looks like and all this. Can my excitement build as we get closer to the season? I'm sure. But as of right now, I'm not moved, man. I'm glad we got Lagway. I want to see what it looks like down here. He's a Texas kid. He's a guy that I always said, how we let this kid get out of Texas. He's a 5-star quarterback. We got too many schools here in Texas for him to not get one of them. I'm glad my Baylor Bears are the team that got him. But will it be enough? I don't know. That's just open-ended. We'll have to see. Baylor loses to Kansas last Friday. I previewed that game last week on the show. Ended up losing this game. I said it was going to be a game that was going to be tough for Baylor to be able to pull off and win. But the Baylor Bears have got a 1-4 start in conference on the men's side. They've got to get it together. And it's not like they're playing slouches, y'all. Like, come on now. The Big 12 is the best conference in the nation. But it's still tough to start off 1-4 to be able to recover from that. They got a win at Stillwater. That's always tough. But trying to go into Kansas a couple of days after that and get a win was just a tall task against a Jayhawks team that's kind of underrated. Darren Peterson's the best player in the country. It is what it is. He's the best player in the country. I've been saying it's a toss-up between him and DeBanster. I like the Boozer kid at Duke as well, some other kids that I like. But Darren Peterson, watching that full game against him and Baylor, I mean, it's just too easy. He's on a different speed. He's on an NBA speed. That's how he's moving, like he's already in the NBA. I've heard him talking about how he takes care of his body. The dude is pretty much dang near a vegan already at 18 years old. He's in tip-top shape, 6'6" guard, can make every shot, takes NBA shots. He's not taking, the Tyler Hansbrough moves. Tyler Hansbrough is one of them guys that all them moves work in college and ain't none of them moves going to work in the pros. That's what I call the Tyler Hansbrough guy. That's not Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson is the real deal. He's going to be the number one pick. People making the comparisons to Kobe. I wish we would just stop doing it. Can he just be Darren Peterson? Or can he be somebody else? Two people I'm tired of seeing people get compared to. Kobe Bryant and Kevin Durant. Can we stop comparing any guard that's around 6'6" to Kobe? Because they're not Kobe. Kobe was a sicko. Kobe was sick in the head. Y'all keep trying to talk about these people being like Kobe. They're not going to be. Kobe was not right in the head. That's why Kobe ended up being Kobe. He wasn't right in the head. All the screws wasn't screwed in up there. He was willing to kill his body to get better every day. Some people do it once, and he did it every day. Every day he pushed himself to the absolute limit. This in the Kobe segment. I'm just saying, let's stop comparing people to Kobe. Darren Peterson is the truth. He's the real deal. Watching that game on Friday was definitely proof of that. Baylor's got to put together some wins, though. Yeah, you lose to the Kansas, you lose to U of H, you lose to Iowa State. Those are all top 10 teams. Not Kansas, but the other two top 10 teams. You're playing against Tech tonight at 8 o'clock. It's not a must-win game, but this is going to be a huge game for Baylor to try to win. Playing at home against a top team like Texas Tech, a Texas Tech team that's coming off a big-time win against BYU, another game that I watched. This is a chance to make some ground up in the Big 12 if you can get this win. Tech is a tough team, man. JT Toppin is a dog. That guard, Anderson, is really, really a dog. But we got CJ Carr. We got Tunde Yesufu. We got to go out there and compete. We're playing at home. You got to defend home if you're not going to defend anything else. Texas Tech is a 2.5-point favorite. If I was betting, which I'm not on this game, I'll take Tech. I ain't going to lie. I'm giving the speech to Baylor. But I would take Tech in this game. But I'm going for Baylor. I think this is a game Baylor can make up some ground if they're able to win. If not, I get it. You lose to a top 10 team, but you got to beat these other guys. You got to beat the Cincinnatis, who's always going to be tough. You got to beat the West Virginias, who's always going to be tough. You got to beat Colorado. Like, those are the games in the next 3 games. You got to win those. TCU, who beat you to start off conference play, you got to get your lick back. Got to get your lick back. Got to beat TCU and win those winnable games. You already got the Iowa States, the BYUs, the Arizonas, the U of H's. These are top teams these are Sweet 16 caliber teams all in your conference. So you got to pick up wins where you can against those teams. But tonight, 8 o'clock, they play against Tech, man. I'll be tuned in after I get off the show today for sure to see what Baylor's going to do at home to defend their home court. MCC was able to come out with the victory in their last game this past weekend. Both men and women were able to come out with a victory in their conference, home conference opener at the Highlands over there at MCC. The women, who are a top 10 ranked team in the nation, came out with a win, 63-51 in this game versus Ranger. Lanijah Johnson performed well once again, man. Another double-double, 10 points, 13 rebounds in this game. She's been phenomenal. She's been one of the more consistent players, not only for MCC, but I think in the country. For sure in the conference. She's having a phenomenal season in what she's been doing so far this year. Got another double-double. She's averaging a double-double. She's averaging 13 points and 10 boards. So you can tell she's one of the more consistent players in the country for sure. She's having a great season. Led them to a victory against Ranger. They're going to be playing in a tough game tomorrow. Tomorrow we got MCC basketball. The women will play at 5. The men will play at 7. They've got a tough game coming up at 5 o'clock tomorrow. They're playing against the number 24 team in the nation in Grayson College. It's going to be a huge, huge test. Grayson is coming into this game on a 3-game winning streak. They've won all their games in conference to start off. They're 7-0 at home. Haven't lost a game at home yet. MCC's got to go on the road in the middle of the week. They got to get on the bus. They got to ride for 2-3 hours to get all the way up there to Grayson and play against a team that's always tough. But this year in particular, man, the 13-2, they're playing great ball. The 3-0 conference, and they're a top 25 team in the nation. MCC's got their hands full for sure playing against them this coming up, playing against them tomorrow in their next conference game. That'll be at 5 o'clock right here on Centex Sports Network. The men also came out with the victory in their game versus Ranger College this past weekend. They improved to 17-1 on the season. They got a 68-50 win against Ranger this past weekend. A team effort, collective team effort. Joseph Mayberry, who's one of their top scorers, he had 8 points, 14 rebounds in this game. Also had 4 assists. Maury Banks chipped in with 12 points. Aiden Law off the bench. Man, he's been big for MCC this year off the bench. Shooting the ball, shooting it over 40% from the three-point line. He had 5 threes in this game. Huge boost for them off the bench. Fights on defense, hustles for loose balls. He had 3 steals in this game as well. So Aiden Law definitely played well. The young guard out of Pearland, Texas, man. They've got a game as well tomorrow at 7 o'clock versus Grayson. They're going to try to move to 18-1 on the season, pick up their 18th win. Make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow. More MCC basketball, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock right here on Centex Sports Network. So make sure you guys getting ready for that. Let's do a couple of quick takes here while we got some time left to go on the show. The Packers are releasing Trayvon Diggs. He got cut by the Cowboys at the end of the season, picked up by the Packers. He was going to help them on their run to the playoffs, but they ended up losing in the first game. They blew a lead to Chicago Bears, so in a game that I think he only played a couple of snaps in, didn't even get a chance to really get acclimated into the defense yet. They cut him. They don't want to pay the rest of that contract. I think Diggs can still be a contributor. Can he be a number one corner locked down? I don't ever think he was locked down, but can he be a number one corner? I don't think so. But can he join a good defense already? A Patriots kind of defense or somebody like that, a Broncos defense. Can he join one of those defenses and be a huge contributor? Absolutely, man. I think Trayvon Diggs still got plenty of football left in the tank. He's a ball hawk, if nothing else. I talk about him a lot when he's on the Cowboys because he's not a shutdown, lockdown, number one corner. But most guys aren't that. What he is a ball hawk. Most guys not getting 10 picks in a year either, though. So I'm not going to just sweep that on the rug like, he didn't have one of the best seasons statistically for a defensive player of all time. Trayvon Diggs still got some good football left. Like I said, him and his brother make some questionable off-the-field decisions, but hey, as long as they show up on Sundays and perform, I don't think it really matters. The Duke Blue Devils are suing Darian Mensah, the quarterback that had a phenomenal year for them, because he jumped into the transfer portal in the very last day of the transfer portal being open to go to Miami, who just played in the national championship. Now, they're suing him because he signed the biggest NIL deal that's been reported in college football history last year. When he left Tulane after having a phenomenal freshman season at Tulane, Duke paid him $8 million for the next 2 years, gave him a contract, gave him $8 million for him to play. Now, I'm sure, obviously, he signed that contract because he played this year. What did Duke do? They go out and win the ACC championship. Somehow magically get into the ACC championship game, and they beat Virginia, win the championship. They're saying, oh, man, we really cashing in with Mensah and a quarterback. They put their money where their mouth was, got the guy there, got a good surrounding cast around him, and they won. But the last day, he enters into the transfer portal. This is what Miami was offering, and this is why I think he jumped into the portal. They're offering to buy him out of his contract and terminate it with Duke, pay him around $10 million. It would take about $10 million to make all that happen, for them to buy him out of his contract and then also give him some money on top of that. Pay him around $10 million, give him country club housing. Now, we're talking about Coral Gables. It's one of the richest neighborhoods in America, in Miami. Give him country club housing, an Adidas deal with the campaign. That his sister plays soccer at Oregon. They were going to get his sister a full ride scholarship to Miami to come down there and play, plus NIL deal to come and leave from Miami, or for her to leave from Oregon. So that's obviously why Darian Mensah jumped into the portal, offering all that. I would jump into the portal too. That money good at Duke, but I think that money spent the same in Miami, and it's a little bit more to do in Miami than it is to do in Durham, North Carolina, and where Duke is. Yeah, man. So Darian Mensah is getting sued by Duke because they're saying, we just gave you this contract that you signed last year, a 2-year contract. This is the part of the transfer portal where it gets tricky, and I think Duke is, I don't know if they're doing the right thing by suing them, but they're doing what anybody else would do and what I would do. Hey, bro, you signed this contract. I get it. The Miami thing sounds nice. It's cool. They're offering your sister this, yada, yada. Hey, we ain't going to offer your sister that. She's going to stay at Oregon. But you signed this contract right here where it says I'm going to play football at Duke for the next 2 years. Got to be some accountability as they're suing him to try to prevent him from transferring. I don't know who's going to win this battle. Miami got a whole lot of money to spend, though, winning 2 or 3 college football playoff games. That's a few million each game that they win. I think some of those millions can go into court, too, and help Mensah get out of that. But a crazy story, man. It's the wild, wild west right now with this NIL stuff. So we're going to see more and more stories like that. Let's look at the NBA while we got some time here left. The All-Star starters have been picked in the Western Conference. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama are going to make up the 5 starters in the West. On the East, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and the Greek Freak, Giannis, were going to round out the 5 East starters. I like the starters, man. I think they got it right on both sides. I know a lot of people saying, oh, LeBron didn't make the starters for the first time. Hey, bro, LeBron is 87 years old. Can we stop with he didn't make the All-Star team. He didn't score 50 points in this game. Can he just be 40? Can he enjoy his working retirement? Because this is retirement / he's still working / playing golf. Let's just enjoy the time that he's here. Can we stop with he didn't make this, okay, who cares? He's still probably going to be an All-Star because the fans voted in, and I'm sure he's going to be up there in fan voting, making the All-Star team. He just won't be starting. Wow, shocker. I think he started for like 18 years in a row. So I guess now he finally doesn't get to start. It's a huge story. But I think they got the starters right. They're going to do the USA versus the world format. The world team is going to have Nikola Jokic, Wemby, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis, all going to be on that world team. Luka going to be on that world team, and they'll add in, I think, 3 more guys for the world team as well. I like them doing the USA versus the world thing for the All-Star format. I think they're going to break it up into 3 teams, 2 USA teams and 1 world team. They'll play 3 games, and whoever's got the best out of those 3 games, the 2 teams are the best, they'll play in the championship round game. I think that's cool, man. They're trying to switch it up, do some different things, try to make it be competitive. But all in all, I think they got the All-Star starters right for this game. Jimmy Butler out for the season after he tears his ACL. This only news to me because just had the conversations about Jonathan Kuminga last week wanting to trade, all the weird things Steve Kerr is doing and not playing him. Well, here, now you got to play him. You don't got a choice now if you're trying to say you're going to be competitive. If I'm the Warriors, it's a fire sale. Let's get rid of everybody. Let's trade. We can't trade Butler. Don't nobody want Draymond to average 5 points, 5 rebounds, and punch people. But whoever else you got out there, man, get him gone. Get him gone. Fire sale. You want Kuminga? Hey, let's go ahead and get him gone. Get some picks. Try to rebuild and try to get the last couple of years of Steph Curry's career to be meaningful. You're not going to do it as presently constructed. The Warriors suck. Should be honest. They suck. It's Steph Curry and a bag of chips out there. Jimmy wasn't doing much. Kuminga was their 3rd leading scorer and a leading rebounder. He wasn't playing. He got 18 DNPs in a row. So the Warriors suck. Let's not make it like this is a huge story. They weren't about to win the championship anyway. But Jimmy Butler being hurt, definitely shout out to Jimmy, man. Hopefully he'll be, speedy recovery and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do my starting 5 of surprising hoopers for this year. Guys that surprised me. Not saying that these guys sucked before or that these guys weren't good. I'm just saying the guys that have had the most surprising season, in my opinion. First guy I got to start with, Keontae George, a former Baylor Bear, guy that got drafted in the lottery, by the Utah Jazz. Man, has played phenomenal this year. He had spurts last year where he played great. Not saying like I didn't see it. I mean, I even watched him at Baylor, obviously, and I knew the guy could hoop. But Keontae George is serious. Like, this isn't a game. This isn't he's serious. There was reports that all offseason he didn't go home. He stayed in Utah. That's how you know you're serious about working on your game, when you stay in Utah. Ain't nothing to do in Utah. If you stay in Utah in the summer, you really focused on your game. Like, ain't no nightclubs in Utah. I don't even know if there are clubs in Utah. I don't know if they're allowed. I don't know Utah culture. I just know it ain't nothing to do, and it ain't a bunch of people that look like Keontae out there for him to do stuff with, or that even have the name Keontae. He might be the second. He's probably the first person in the history of the state of Utah to live in Utah and his name be Keontae. But he's having a phenomenal season, man. 24 points a game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds to go along with it. Yeah, the Jazz suck, but he is playing great ball. I've seen him give everybody buckets so far this year. Everybody. All the guards that come in to Utah to come play, man, he's giving them buckets. I watched him give a 40-piece to the Celtics a few weeks ago, man. Keontae George is the real deal. Second, on my starting 5 for surprising players this year, Tyrese Maxey. I just said he was named an all-star starter. I knew Tyrese Maxey was good. Got a chance to cover one of his last playoff games in high school when he played against a local team here in Midway. They played in the playoffs, and they played against Tyrese Maxey, and we did that game. Maxey I knew he was a monster. I knew he was going to be the number one option coming in this year. But to average 30 points and 7 assists and be an all-star starter, that was surprising to me. He was good last year. He was good the year before that. But to be a guy that can average 30, not he scores 30 sometimes. Man, he's averaging 30. I don't know if he'll keep that up for the rest of the year. But, man, he's had a phenomenal start to the season. Much deserved to be an all-star starter. Huge accomplishment for a young Tyrese Maxey. The third guy I got on my surprising players of the year, Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. Man, Jalen Johnson has progressed year after year after year after year. I've liked watching this guy's game. But this year, he's on another level. Now the Hawks, another team that sucks. They're not going anywhere. No one's going to watch the Hawks. They just traded Trae Young to the Washington Wizards. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to go to the Wizards. But he's going to the Wizards. Jalen Johnson has played phenomenal. 23 points a game, 10 rebounds, 8 assists to go along with it. Dude's dang near averaging a triple-double. Playing the point forward position is easily the building block piece for the Atlanta Hawks here as they move in the future. No idea why they drafted Zachary Risachet with the number 1 overall pick. They finally get the number 1 pick, and you draft, I'm not going to say a scrub. You draft somebody that's not that meaningful. You could have drafted Alex Sarr. He's not great, but he's better than Zachary Risachet. Now, come on, man. I don't know what the Hawks was thinking, but Jalen Johnson playing phenomenal ball. Fourth guy on the list, Dillon Brooks. Man, Dillon Brooks, a former Houston Rocket. We traded him in the offseason, and he's played great, averaging 21 points a game for the Suns. And I watched a lot of the game. Man, he's their guy. He's their leader. It's not Book. It's not some of the other guys out there. He is their leader on the floor. To be doing that in his first year, to be averaging 20. Man, this is a 3-and-D guy. This is a guy that came into the league. He's supposed to just play defense and shoot corner threes. To transform your game like this, not even really transform, because this is what he was doing in Oregon. This is what he was doing in Canadian basketball in the summer. But to come into the league and get 21 a game, huge accomplishment. Finally, the guy to round out my list for my top 5 surprise players, Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren for the Detroit Pistons. If I was doing surprise teams, the Pistons would be number 1. They're playing phenomenal basketball. They got a real chance to do something in the East. East is wide open. No Tatum on the Celtics. The Sixers are just a mess as far as injuries. The Pacers just went to the finals. Tyrese Halliburton's not playing this year. They're terrible. Pistons got a chance to do something. Jalen Duren, a huge, huge part of that. 18 points a game, 11 rebounds a game to go along with it. Man, he is playing phenomenal basketball. A defensive anchor, a real rebounder, got his top 5 in rebounds this year. And then the average 18 points to go along with it. Him, Cade Cunningham, Thompson out there with them. Man, they got a great mix of young guys and vets. J.B. Bickerstaff doing a great job. Shout out to Jalen Duren having a great season. Those are my 5 guys for my starting 5 of surprise players this year in the NBA. Keontae George, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Johnson, Dillon Brooks, Jalen Duren. All those guys have played phenomenal this year. Couple of games coming on tonight. My Houston Rockets getting ready to play against the Spurs at home. The Spurs are favored in this game. By 3.5 points, I believe. That game getting ready to come on NBC. That should be a good one. Obviously, I'm going with my Rockets if y'all looking for my pick. If I'm ever picking a Houston team and y'all trying to figure out who to put on your parlays, don't listen to what I'm saying because I'm always going to pick a Houston team, even though I think they got a great chance to win in this game. We've lost some bad ones over the last couple of weeks. This is a game that we can turn it around, win against a formidable team, and they just beat us up a couple of weeks ago as well. The night game on NBC, the Nuggets versus the Lakers. I'm interested in watching this game, man. No Nikola Jokic still in this game. He's still out. Jamal Murray's been playing phenomenal, though, in his absence. Lakers got to go out there and get wins, though. You got to beat the teams like this when they're down. DeAndre Ayton had a really good game a couple of nights ago. I think you got to see more of that. More of Luka handling the ball. More of Ayton just sitting around the rim waiting for lobs. That's what the Lakers got to do in order for them to win. Those are the games coming on tonight, folks. We're out of time here today on Centex Primetime. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Tomorrow, MCC basketball, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Tune in right here on Centex Sports Network. You'll be able to catch all of that action. We'll be back on the show on Thursday to get you guys ready for the championship games Coming up, AFC Championship, NFC Championship. Rocky Miller will be on here with me. We'll discuss all of that as well and what's going on in the transfer portal for sure. Thanks, guys, for tuning in with us here today. Like, share, subscribe. As always, MCC Basketball. We'll see you guys then tomorrow. Everybody have a great evening.
Give me respect, it is what it is.